ってことで、本日はシャドーイング配信ではないですね。シャドーイングとリスニングの配信をやっていきたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。ですね、本日なんですけども、最近ね、あまり触れることがなかったシャドーイングとリスニングの練習をやっていきます。シャドーイングはですね、まず、だから音声が流れるんですけど、音声に沿って1秒ほど遅れた状態で音声と同じように例文を読んでいくっていう感じですね。そしてリスニングについては、過去問とかのそのドリルとかのやつの問題を実際にやってみたいと思っております。ってことでやっていきますか。早速。まずシャドーイングからやりたいと思います。今日暇なんですよね、本当にすごく。誰が来るかな。今日誰か来ないかな。ちょっと今0人なだけ。どうせ0人なんだけど、誰か来てくれないかな。ちょっとコメントでも打ちますか。よし、ってことでやりますか。まずは誰か来てくれたのかな。こんにちは。1名様、ようこそ。こんな配信に来てくださってありがとうございます。ちょっとね、絵面はちょっとカービィたちがいっぱいいるみたいな感じなんですけども、ちょっと今日はね、シャドーイングとリスニングの配信やっていきます。ちょっとね、音声が、僕の声とその音声が、なんか一気に10人も増えた。すごい。で、なんかね、ちょっとね、音声、僕の声と、タブレットからの音声が流れてくるっていうだけの動画になっちゃうんですけど、配信になっちゃうんですけど、ご了承ください。なんかカービィがいっぱいいるなみたいな、そんな感じの絵面ですけどね、ちょっと見た人困惑するかな、これ。14人来てくださってる。ありがとうございます。そうですね、今日はどうしようかな。まずどっからやろうかな。これ英語の勉強の配信ですよ。カービィたちがいるっていうだけの配信ではございませんので、ご了承くださいね。声聞こえてるかな。どなたか声聞こえてるかどうかコメントしていただいてもよろしいですよ。減っちゃったこと説。こんな絵面だったらね、謎だよね、みんな。コメントしていただけるとありがたいんですけどね、声通ってるかどうか。どうしようかな。何番からやろうかな。17番くらいにしようかな。ってことで。よし、やっていきます。英単語がいくつあるかっていう話なんですが、やっていきます。とりあえず、音声を流します。ちょっともう一回いきますね。English is language with an enormous number of words, but how many English words are there? Most dictionaries used by college students have about 200,000 words, while most fluent dictionaries have about 300 to 600,000. Meanwhile, an organization called the Global Language Monitor positively says exactly 1,180,729 English words. But counting the number of words in English is not an easy task. First of all, many of us used English today were originally words in other languages. Should the word sushi or tsunami be considered for English words? Now that we are frequently used, then the question was there were countries ago that are no longer to it today. Should they be continue to? However, was they only use certain regions of a country? って感じですね。こんな感じでもうひたすら音声に続いて英文を読んでいきます。いきます。もう一回。
17.
English is a language with enormous number of words. How many English words are there? Most dictionaries used by college students have about 200,000 words, while most fluent dictionaries have about 300,000, 600,000. Meanwhile, an organization called the Global Language Monitor possibly claims that there are exactly 1,019,729 English words. But time held was English is not its task. First of all, many words that we use in English today were originally words in other languages. Should the words sushi or tsunami be considered English words now that they are frequently used? Then there is words of the centuries ago but are no longer used today. Should they be wanted to? What about words the words only used in certain regions of a country? って感じですね。こんな感じです。
17.
English is a language with enormous number of words. But how many English words are there? Most dictionaries used by college students have about 200,000 words. Most fluent dictionaries have 300 to 600 too. Meanwhile, an organization called the Global Language Monitor positively claims that there are exactly 1,019,720 English words. But how many do they come from these tasks? First of all, many words that we use in English today were originally words in other languages. Should the words sushi or tsunami be considered English words now that they are frequently used? Then there is question was that centuries ago but are no longer used today. Should they be counted too? What about words that only used in certain regions of a country? って感じですね。よし、では次は意味も意識しながらやりたいので、スロースピードでやっていきます。
17.
English is a language with an enormous number of words. But how many English words are there? Most dictionaries used by college students have about 200,000 words, while most Franco language dictionaries have about 3,600,000. Meanwhile, an organization called the Global Language Monitor positively claims that there are exactly 1,019,729 English words. But counting the number of words in English is not an easy task. First of all, many words that we use in English today were originally words in other languages. Should the words sushi or tsunami be considered in English words now that they are frequently used? Then there is the question of words that were used centuries ago but are no longer used today. Should they be counted too? What about words that are only used in certain regions of a country? よしって感じですね。だいたい意味も分かってきた気もしますが、もう一回やりたいと思います。あら、ゼロになっちゃった。まあいいや。
17.
ちゃんと音入ってるかどうかちょっと確認したいと思います。ちゃんと音入ってるかどうかちょっと確認したいと思います。入ってそうですね。よかったよかった。ですね。すげえ反響してる、すっげえ反響してる。OK、OK。ってことで、そうですね。次は何しよう。次はもう一回意味を確認しながらやっていきます。
English is a language.
17.
English is a language with an enormous number of words. But how many English words are there? Most dictionaries used by college students have about 200,000 words, while most full-length dictionaries have about 300 to 200,000. Meanwhile, an organization called the Global Language Monitor positively claims that there are exactly 1,019,729 English words. But counting the number of words in English is not an easy task. First of all, many words that we use in English today were originally words in other languages. Should the word sushi or tsunami be considered English words now that they are correctly used? Then there is the question words of the centuries ago but are no longer used today. Should they be counted too? What about words that are only used in certain regions of a country? What about words that are only used in certain regions of a country? certain regions となると certain ということで certain はだから確実にって意味があるから確実にそこだけしかみたいなそんな感じですかね。そのだけの地域でしかっていう感じでしょうかね。多分そういうことですよね。
17.
English is a
English is a language with an enormous number of words. But how many English words are there? Most dictionaries used by college students have about 200,000 words, while most full-length dictionaries have about 600,000. Meanwhile, an organization called the Global Language Monitor positively claims that there are exactly 1,019,729 English words. But counting the number of the words in English is not an easy task. First of all, many words that we use in English today were originally words in other languages. Should the words sushi or tsunami be considered there is now that they are frequently used? Then there is the question of that words centuries ago but are no longer used today. Should they be counted too? What about words that are only used in certain regions of a country? まあいいでしょう。ってことで次は意味も理解しつつそして見ずにやっていきたいと思います。完全に耳だけを使って英文を理解していくって感じですね。いきます。
English is a language.
はい。
17.
English is a
language with an enormous number of words. How many English words are there? Most dictionaries used by college students have about 200 words, while most languages have 300,000, 600,000 words. Meanwhile, an organization called the Global Monitor positively claims there are exactly 1,019,729 English words. But counting the number of English is not an easy task. First of all, many words used in English today originally used languages. Should the word sushi or tsunami be considered English words now that they are frequently used? Then there is the question of words that were used centuries ago but are no longer used today. Should they be counted too? What about words that are only used in certain regions of a country? いや難しいなやっぱりちょっと遅めでやってみるか。
17.
English is a language with an enormous number of words. But how many English words are there? Most dictionaries by college students have about 200,000 words, while most full dictionaries have about 300,000 to 600 words. Meanwhile, an organization called the Global Language
positively
positively claims that there are exactly 1,090,729 English words.
But
But counting the number of
words in English is
percentage
not an easy
is not an
task.
easy task.
First of all,
First of all,
many words that
many
we use
words
in
in
English
English
today
today
were originally
originally
words in other
was in other
languages.
languages.
Should the words
Should the word
sushi or
sushi or
tsunami be
tsunami be
considered English
considered
words
English words
now that they are
now that
frequently used?
frequently used?
Then
Then
there is the
there is
question of words
questions
that were
about
used
words
centuries
centuries
ago
ago,
but are no
but no
longer
longer
used today.
used today.
Should they
Should
be
they be
counted
counted
too?
too?
What about
What
words
about
that are
more?
only used in certain regions of a
What
country?
what about words that are only used in certain regions of a country? ってことですね。ちょっと難しいですね。てかコメントくれないかな。寂しいんだけど。コメントくれないかな。寂しいんだけど。全然シャドーイングとかだから全然めちゃくちゃ集中してるってわけじゃないから。コメントくれないかな。寂しい。Used in certain regions of a country ってことですね。ちょっと English words.
But
counting the number of percentage is not an easy task.
First of all,
First of all,
many words that
many
we
words
use in
in
English
English
today
today
were originally
originally
words in
was
other
in other
languages.
languages. よし、じゃあ次行きますか。18番ですね、次は。
18.
18.
And the list of
And the list of the question goes on.
Should we
Should we count
the
the
adjective,
verb,
the noun, and other forms of a word as
separate words?
In other
In
words,
those,
would
is
drive,
drive, driving, or
driver
driver be counted as separate words?
Should a
Should a
compound word be
compound
counted as one
be
word?
counted as
Or should each of the
each
words
of
in it be
the
counted separately?
separately?
How
How
about
about the huge number of technical and scientific terms?
Finally,
To add to
the
the difficulties of counting words,
we
we
need
need to consider new words that we are creating all the time. The constantly changing nature of language is frustrating for the expression of words count words. But this is also what makes languages so interesting. English, like other languages, always offers something new to learn.
Eighteen.
And the list of languages goes on. Should we count the verb, the adjective, the noun, and the other forms of as separate words? In other words, would drive, driving, and driver be counted as separate words? Should the compound words be counted words others to reach possibility? How about the huge technical words? Finally, add to difficulties
We need to
consider new words created all the time.
The constantly
The constantly changing nature of certain languages is frustrating for those trying to.
But this is also what makes
早すぎ
language
早
so
すぎ
interesting.
早すぎ
English,
早
like
すぎ
other languages,
ガチ早い早すぎて何もわかんないんでちょっと次は普通にやります普通にやりますじゃないスロースピードでやりたいと思います
And the list of questions
And the list
goes
of
on.
the question goes on.
Should we
Should
count
we
the
count the
verb,
verb,
the
the
adjective,
adjective,
the
the
noun,
noun,
and
and
other
the
forms of
forms
the
of
word
the
as
separate
separate
words?
words?
In
In
other
words,
words,
would
would drive, driving, and driver be counted as separate words? Should a compound words be counted words, or should each of the words be counted separately?
How
How about the huge number of technical and scientific terms? Finally, to add to the difficulties of counting words, we need to consider new words created all the time. The constantly changing language is frustrating for anyone trying to count words. But this is also what makes language so interesting. English, like other languages, always offers something new to learn. って感じですね。もう一回やりましょうか。
18.
And
And the list of the questions goes on. Should we count the verb, the adjective, the noun, and other forms of the words separate words?
In other
In other
words,
words,
would
would
drive,
driving, and driver be counted as a separate?
Should a
Should the
compound
count
word be counted as one word, or should each of
should
the words
each
in
of
it
the
be
words
counted
separately?
separately?
How
How
about the huge number of technical and scientific
terms?
terms?
Finally, to add to
to
the
add to-
difficulties of counting
ちょっと
words,
難しい
we
な。
need to
We need
consider
to consider
new
new
words that
words
were
that were created
all
all
the
the
time.
time.
The
The constantly changing nature of languages is frustrating for anyone trying to count words. But this is also what makes languages so interesting. English, like other languages, always offers something new to learn. Oh. お、ユッキー、こんにちは。かわいいってことだけど、カービィでしょ？カービィのことでしょ？かわいいでしょ？なんか、読んでるだけだから英文とか音声に沿ってね、読んでるだけだからちょっと絵面がもっと手とかも動いてないし微妙かなと思ってちょっとこいつら読んでみたわちょっとっていうことで今日はねシャドーイングやってるわ最終回投稿したから見てね OK 見とくね後でちょっと今日はねシャドーイングとリスニングやろうかなと思ってちょっと音声だけになるけどちょっとよろしくお願いします56年前に投稿されてた人ですってことねあったねなんかすごいなんか日数が数えられててなんか5万日くらいね5万日くらい前になんか投稿されてたよってなんかあったねそうおもろいバグだよねあれはユッキーとかシャドーイングしたことあるなんかねリスニングとかの練習するときにね必要というかなんかね腐って返信来てたから腐って返信してたそうあれにはあの不思議さにはちょっと草を打ちたくなるよねちょっと僕はあるよ学校とかでもやってるそうだよね学校でもねやると思うんだけどねこれねなんかリスニングとかの練習とかになるみたいんだよねなんでだろうかちょっとよくわかんないんだけどねコミエとかでも高校行ったらやるアホでやらされたからね僕学校でアホほどやらされるってことはまあ効果あるってことだと思うけどねそんな意味もないことやんないと思うからねってことでちょっと次は意味も考えながらやるのでスロースピードでやっていく英検1級の先生は役に立つって言ってたそうなんだ英検1級取れる人が言ってたならそれはまあ保証されてるよね効果は保証されてると思うよねそらまあちょっとやってる感じマジで実感ないんだけどね効果あるかどうかの本当にただ読んでるだけで何か起きるのかなって本当に思ってる
Always
18.
and the list
And the
of
list of
questions
questions goes on
Should we
should we count the verb
the
the adjective
the
the
noun,
noun
and other
and the
forms
other
of the
count
word
of the
as
words separated
words?
words
In
in
other
other
words,
words
would
was
driving, and
driver
be
be
counted
counted
as
as
separated
separated words
Should
should
a
the compound
word
words be counted as words
or should
should
each of the
be
words
each
in it be counted
separately
How
how
about
about
the huge
ちょっと
number
待って難しいなもう一回やろうかなまあうち配信してくれなくて寂しいああそうだね先輩ねちょっとあれだもんね定期試験受けなきゃいけないからねそれも関係あると思うけどちょっと寂しいよね僕ねちょっとでも DM したよ、ちょっとね北斎最近ね触ってんだけどなんか先輩の相棒のねそれを使ってたらめっちゃいい試合取れたからメモポ送ったのちょっと見てほしくてそしたらねちゃんと返ってきたよ返信見てくれるっぽいからちゃんと元気にはしてそうだよ体調とかも聞いてみたけどでもね実際に配信とかで会いたいよね本当に配信とかでも会いたいよな本当に定期試験いつ終わるんだろうな1月の終わりくらいだったかなって言ってた気がするんですけど アルッチ先輩以外にも他に行ってるとことかないかったらそれは寂しいか。僕は他にも行ってる人いるからいるんだけど、そうだよね。マルチ先輩のとこもよく行ってるからな。寂しいわ、それは。よし、ってことで次やります。
of technical and
18.
and the list of
And the list of
questions
questions goes on. Should we count the verb, the adjective, the noun,
and other
and the
forms of the word as
the
separate
words?
In
In other
words,
words,
would
would
drive,
driving and
driver
driver be counted as separated words?
Should a
Should a
compound
compound
word
word
be counted as one
be
word,
word?
or should each of the words in it be
ダメだ。
counted?
もう一回やろう。
18.
And the list
And
of
the list of
questions
questions
goes on.
goes on.
Should we
Should
count
we
the
count
verb,
the verb,
the
the
adjective,
adjective,
the
the
noun,
noun,
and other
and the
forms of a
noun
word
of
as separate
separated
words?
words?
In
In
other
other
words,
words,
would
would
drive,
driving, and driver
be
be
counted
counted as separated words?
Should
Should the compound word be counted as a one
or
word?
should each of
Should
the
we
words
each
in
of
it be counted
the
separately? How about the huge
serve
number of
as a
technical
huge
and
number of
scientific
technical and
terms?
scientific terms?
Finally,
Finally,
to add to the
add to the
difficulties of
difficulties
counting
counted
words,
words,
we
we
need
need
to
to consider new words
that
that
are
were
being
created all the time.
The
The constantly changing the nature of language
language
is frustrating for anyone trying to counting words. But this is also what makes language so interesting. English, like other languages, always offers something new to learn. ちょっと意味まで理解できないかもしれない。
18.
And
And the list of questions goes on.
Should we
Should we count the verb, the adjective, the noun,
and other
as
forms
the
of a word as
separated words?
In
In other words,
would
drive, driving, and driver be counted
as
separated words? Should a compound word be counted to a word? Should each of the language separately?
How about the
How
huge
about
number of
huge
technical and
number of
scientific
technical and
terms?
scientific terms?
Finally,
Finally,
to add
to
to
add
the
to the
difficulties of
difficulties of
counting
counting words,
we need
we need to consider
that
new
are being
words that
created
were
all the time.
created all the time.
The constantly
The constantly changing nature of language
frustrating
is
for
frustrating
anyone
for
trying to count
anyone trying
words.
to count words.
But this is
But this is also
language
what
so
makes
interesting.
language so interesting.
English,
English, like other languages, always offers something new to learn. いや、むずいね、なかなか。ちょっと意味まで理解できねえや、この文じゃ。ちょっと別のやつやろうかな。よし、じゃあこれいきますか。
19.
いや、さっきのやるか、やっぱり。さっきのでちょっと意味も意識しながらやっていこう。
18.
And the
list of questions goes on.
Should we count the verb, the adjective,
Adjective,
the noun,
and
other
forms
forms of a
of
word as
separated
separate words? In other
In
words,
other words,
would
drive,
drive,
driving, and driver
be
be
counted
counted as separated words?
Should a
Should the
compound word be
compound
counted as one
words
word?
be
or
counted
should each
as
of the words in
one
it
word,
be
or
counted
should
separately?
each of us
How
in
about the
it?
huge number of
How about
technical
huge
and
number of
scientific
technical and
terms?
scientific terms?
Finally, to add to the
Finally, add to
difficulties of
the
counting
difficulties of
words,
counting
we
words,
need to
we need to consider new words that are created all the time.
The
The constantly changing nature of language is frustrating for anyone to try to count words.
But this is
But this is also
language
what makes the languages so interesting.
like other
English, like other languages, always offers something new to learn. いやー、むずいね。なかなか。次やつやるか、やっぱり。あ
19. 19. Traditions and customs based on superstitions and religion have been an important aspect of weddings in all cultures. They vary greatly. 19. Traditions and customs based on superstitions and religion have been an important aspect of weddings in all cultures.
They vary greatly from the country to another, and sometimes even between different ethnic groups. 早いんだよな。Traditions and customs based on superstitions and religion have been an important aspect of weddings in all cultures. They vary greatly from the one country to another, and sometimes even between different ethnic groups in a particular country. Though many traditions and customs have been forgotten through the years, many of today's wedding ceremonies have their beginnings in ancient beliefs and circumstances originated in medieval times. In a Christian wedding, the bride usually wears a white wedding gown to pure. White was a color that was once believed to keep evil spirits away. On the other hand, in Hinduism, white signifies god of death. A Hindu bride usually wears red dress with stitching. In China, both the bride and the groom are dressed in red, which is a color associated with celebration and good fortune.
19.
Traditions and customs based on superstitions and religion have been an important aspect of wedding in all cultures. They vary greatly from one country to another, and sometimes even between different ethnic groups in a particular country. Though many traditions and customs have been forgotten through the years, many of today's wedding ceremonies have the ancient beliefs and customs originated in medieval times. In a Christian wedding, the bride usually wears a white wedding gown to show that she is pure. White was a color that was believed to keep spirits away. On the other hand, in Hinduism, white signifies the color of death. A Hindu bride usually wears a red dress with gold stitching. In China, both the bride and groom are dressed in red, which is a color associated with celebration and good fortune. Traditions and customs based on superstitions 迷信かスパスティションっていうのは
Traditions and
customs based on superstitions and religion
have been
have
an
been an
important
important
aspect of
aspect of
weddings
weddings
in
in
all
all
cultures.
cultures.
They
They vary
vary
greatly
greatly from
one
one country
country
to
to
another,
another,
and
and
sometimes
sometimes
even
between
between different
ethnic groups in a particular country.
Though
Though many
many
traditions and
have been
customs have been forgotten
forgotten
through the years,
many
many of
of
today's wedding ceremonies have their beginnings in ancient beliefs and customs that originated in medieval times. In a Christian's wedding, the bride usually wears a white wedding gown to show that she is pure. White was a color that was once believed to keep evil spirits away. On the other hand, in Hinduism, white signifies the color of death. Hindu bride usually wears a red dress with gold stitching. In China, both bride and groom are dressed in red, which is a color associated with celebration and good fortune. Traditions and customs based on superstitions and religion have been an important aspect of weddings or cultures. They vary very greatly from country to another, and sometimes even different ethnic groups in particular country. So many traditions and customs have been forgotten through the years. Many of today's wedding ceremonies have their beginnings in ancient beliefs and customs related in medieval times. In a Christian wedding, the bride usually wears a white wedding gown to show that she is pure. White was a clothes On the other hand, in Hinduism, white signifies the color of death. A Hindu bride appears dressed with stitching. In China, both the bride and groom are dressed in red, which is a color associated with celebration and good fortune.ってことで、次は意味を意識しながらやっていきますか。Traditions and customs based on superstitions and religion have been an important aspect of weddings or the cultures. They vary greatly from one country to another, and sometimes even between different ethnic groups in a particular country. Though many customs have been forgotten through the years, many of today's ceremonies have their beginnings in ancient beliefs and customs originated in medieval times. In a Christian wedding, the bride usually wears a light wedding gown to show that she is pure. White was a color that was once believed to keep spirits away. On the other hand, in Hinduism, white signifies the color of death. A Hindu bride usually wears red dress with stitching. In China, both the bride and groom are dressed in red, which is a color associated with celebration and good fortune. ってことって感じで、ちょっと休憩しようかな。こんにちは。どうも。誰か来ないかな、うちの人とか。もう学校終わった人とかいるのかな。僕は学校終わってますか。 よしよしよしよし。ってことで、やりますか。もう一回くらいやろうかな。もうちょっと簡単な文章で、もうちょっと意味を理解しつつやりたいかもしれない。
16. Ben
Ben
Hemmons is the
Hemmons is
father
the
of three
father.
children, including
16.
Ben Hemmons is the father of three children,
children,
including 4-year-old
four-year-old
Sophie.
Sophie.
According to
According to medical
medical experts,
experts,
it is
it
normal
is
for kids
normal
around
to
this age
this
to
age
catch colds
to catch
4
cold
to 5
4 to
times a
5
year.
times a year.
In adults,
In adults,
the
the
ratio is
ratio
about 2
about
to
2
3 times a
3
year,
times a year
for
for
reasons
reasons
that are not completely clear.
clear.
However,
However,
says
says
Dr.
Dr.
Ranit
Ranit
Mishori
Mishori
of
of
Georgetown
Georgetown
University
University
Hospital,
Hospital,
many
many
people
people
believe that
believe
it is
that
possible
it's
to
possible
become
to become
immune to the
immune
common
to
cold
common
so that one gets
so
fewer
get
and
fewer
fewer
and fewer
colds
colds
as he
as
ages.
he ages.
There are about
There are
200
about
types
2
of
types
virus
of
that
virus
cause
that
the common
cause the
cold.
common cold.
Yet
Yet people think that
once
once you get
infected one
infected one time,
you
you
develop
develop
immunity for
immunity
the rest
for
of
the
your
rest
life.
of your life.
This is
This is
entirely
entirely
wrong, she
wrong,
claims.
she claims.
There are
There
simply
are simply
too many different
viruses,
viruses, many of
many
which
of which
change in
change
slight
in
ways
slight ways
as they
as they
pass
pass
from
person
person
to
to
person.
person.
よし、ってことで、リスニングの方やっていきますかね。ってことで、リスニングの方やっていきます。リスニングは、ちなみにそんなにやってないですよね。ちょっとまずいかもしれない。ここ痛いとこ疲れる可能性があるみたいです。はい、ってことで、ドペちゃん、まだどんな問題があるかもちょっと分かってないんだよね。ちょっとまずいかもしれない。ドドバチドドバチドドトラビでされるアプリがいるのか。ちょっとだるいな。アプリいるのちょっとだるいな。集中ゼミか。これだな。
3週間英検2級集中ゼミ7定番9日目リスニング第1部例題
Excuse me, I bought this cat food at this shop last week, but I got salmon instead of chicken. Is it possible to exchange it?
Has the bag been opened yet?
No, it hasn't. I realized I made a mistake as soon as I got home.
Okay, that's fine then. But please make sure you're getting the same brand and that the price is the same.
Question. What does the woman want to do?
よし、やっていこうか。
9日目リスニング第1部練習問題
Number 1.
ちょっと待っててね。よし、ノート今出しました。ということでやっていきますか。
Excuse me, but would you tell me the way to the station?
Sure. Go straight up the street 3 blocks. You'll see it on the right.
Do you think I can get there in 10 minutes? I have to take the 2:30 express.
You can make it if you hurry. Good luck to you. Question. Why should the man hurry? Number 2. Look at all these gifts we bought in Paris.
We really had a hard time deciding what to buy.
Yes. I even began to wish we hadn't offered to bring back souvenirs to so many friends and relatives.
It made you feel obligated to find a nice gift for everyone.
Question. What are they talking about? Number 3. Hi, Simon. Did you get that promotion you were hoping for?
No, they gave it to Izumi instead. I was really disappointed not to get it.
You shouldn't be. Remember, she's been here 2 years longer than you.
I guess you're right, but I worked really hard.
Question. Why does Simon feel down? Number 4.
Excuse me, I'm looking for a new printer for under $500.
Okay. I recommend the Printmaster 3. It's super fast and has lots of advanced features.
Actually, it's for my 80-year-old mother. It might be too complicated for her.
Oh, then the WonderPrint X might be more suitable. It's so simple, you can start printing with it in 2 minutes. Question. What does the woman say about the WonderPrint X? Number 5. Mr. Wilson, I just got an email from one of our most important customers. The company is really upset about the order that we sent them last week.
Oh no. Did it arrive late again?
No. This time, they said there were some goods missing.
That's a serious problem. I'll call them right now and check on what happened.
Question. Why is the customer unhappy? Number 6.
So, did you do anything fun this weekend, Becky?
Are you kidding? I was rushing to finish my essay for Professor Hoffman's history class. It's due tomorrow.
Oh, didn't you hear the news? He moved the deadline to next Friday. because so many people were complaining about it.
Now I feel so stupid. I could have gone to Richard's party. Question. What does the man tell Becky? Number 7. Good afternoon. May I help you?
Yes, I'd like to rent a car for one day.
Do you have any particular car model in mind? We have many selections available, such as sedans or vans.
Actually, we'd prefer a smaller one. Perhaps an intermediate or a compact car would be great for the two of us.
Question. What does the man want to do? Number 8. Hello?
Hello, Anne? It's Alan. I'll be at the airport to meet you at 10 a.m.
Okay, great, Alan. But listen, there's a chance the weather becomes worse and my flight gets delayed.
I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, what should I do?
I'll send a text message to your mobile phone and tell you my new arrival time. Question. What will Anne do if she is late? Number 9. Jean, you're from France, aren't you?
That's right, Yumiko. I'm from Lyon. Why do you ask?
Well, it's just that I have a French test soon. I need you to help me with it. Can we go to a cafe and talk about it?
Of course, but not right now. I can be there around 4 o'clock.
Question. What does Yumiko ask Jean to do? Number 10. How can I help you, sir?
Look at these shoes. I bought them last week, and already the soles are coming loose. They are obviously not well made.
Oh dear, I see what you mean. Well, of course we'll be happy to replace them for you or give you a refund.
I think I'd rather have my money back.
Question. What is the man's problem?
10日目リスニング第1部練習問題
Number 1. Dave, long time no see.
Hey, Jennifer, what a surprise. It's great to see you again. Are you still working at CRL Computers?
Yes, but they transferred me to the marketing department at the end of last year. How about you? What are you doing now?
Well, after I left CRL, I started my own business. I'm doing video editing these days.
Question. What do we learn about Dave and Jennifer? Number 2. I heard your kids are away at a summer camp, Richard.
Yes, they've never been away from home for so.
よしってことでこの辺にしときますかね今回は。